Hello, I'm Jed. Welcome to my homestyle. So you're in the first spot in the house. This is called the Genkan. Genkan is a Japanese term for the anteroom where people are actually taking off their shoes and putting on their room shoes. And this was a house that was bought in 2021, a four-story house with 5 bedrooms, 6 toilets, and a rooftop that we added at the end of the retrofitting. So when we bought this house, this was a very, very modern house with shiny ceramic tiles, with marble toilets. So everything was ripped off to our liking. My home style is eclectic modern Filipino. So everything that you will see in this house is basically a collection of what I personally have designed, things that I have found from houses, and things I've seen on vintage thrift shops, and things that we have already owned for generations. We are now here at the receiving area. These tiles are vegan tiles. And we purposely chose this style so that you have that feel of Filipino, old traditional Filipino receiving rooms. We have this chair that I designed. This is the Banig lounge chair. So you could use this inside and outside as well. And then this beautiful slate tabletop that I just bought when we were on our way to the north. I saw this in Bulacan and I thought this would work as a perfect coffee table in the receiving area. And this is like some decorations like from vintage shop. And these are those Batanes glass boys from the Japanese pre-war. And then those as well from Batanes, given to me by some of good friends. Ifugao stools and some Solia sofas. So this is the powder room, just adjacent to our receiving room. You know, when I designed this space, I wanted to be very different among the rooms of the house because I felt like powder rooms are a space where you could really express your creativity because it's such a small, compact room. It has that element of surprise where when you go in, it's like there's a shock, a wow factor that it would have. So that's what I did for this room. So it's actually a very dark room with some very rustic elements. The pedestal that we have used is basically from a junkyard that I often go to. And so I really wanted it to be rusty and sharp and jarring. And then we used here the element of a Hollywood mirror where the lights can actually be turned to different colors as well. This is actually my favorite part of the house because this is what we call our pocket garden. So when we bought this house, this was actually a glass sliding door, and it's actually part of the exterior of the house. So when it rains, it actually, the rainwater pours down here, and it still does. And that's why I really love this. So when there's rain during the day or in the evening, this place becomes like a cascading waterfall. And I specifically wanted this very interesting old driftwood. And we got this from Quezon, from the province of Quezon. The people who lived in the mountains there actually brought this down from the rainforest of Quezon. When we went to Pampanga to look for old materials and old interesting elements that we could put up in our house, I found a number of balusters from old ancestral houses. And so I just bought them all. And while we are constructing the house, I thought, why not place it as part of a feature wall? So this is what we have done. And also it's in there as well. This is the dining room where everyone mostly spends our time eating and just talking and drinking. This is a very interesting space because when we bought this house, this is actually part of the outside part of the house before. So there was a window here, a sliding glass door, and this is part of the house where it's actually open to sky. But then I thought, why not make it a part of the interior as well? We extended the interior space to make a very interesting shape and layout of a dining room. And this wall is actually a boundary wall, and right next to it is actually a mound, a huge mound of soil. And then, of course, we needed a table that was designed by myself. This is actually part of the Jed Yabut furniture collection. This is a 10-seater tinikling dining table. I really thought this is the perfect table for this house. And adjacent to the dining room is what we call a patio nook. So it's just basically a cafe breakfast table for two here. And before, this is again part of the outside. So I opened it up so that it becomes, a part of the interior space, so that the interior space becomes even bigger. I designed this such that it looked very different from the inside. So it has dark tiles, and then the mood is also quite dark. And then we place some beautiful hanging plants out here as well. We have these chairs designed by myself, the abanico chair, and also the anahaw accent chair. And I want to talk about the floor. So before, I mentioned that our tiles before, when we moved here, it's so glossy and they're quite modern, and really didn't like that. So I wanted it to look like it's been aged, and it really looked raw and looked very Filipino. So I chose to have this as like concrete polished floor. And now it has so many scratches and has got lots of cracks due to earthquakes, but that makes up for the character of the whole space. And I really, really love that. This is the kitchen. This is the kitchen island that I have designed. Previously, when we bought this space, it was just basically a protrusion of the same kitchen countertop. And I really wanted this to stand out. My brother really wanted to have a kitchen island, so I wanted it to be very interesting. So what I did is a floating wooden table. Not really floating. It has a very beautiful stone pedestal at the bottom. And then what's very interesting here is this suspended ceiling, which is actually made out of brass panels. And then we aged it using ammonia so that it has that antique aged look. I'm not a very modern person where everything needs to be polished. I want it to be very rough. I need it to be very natural and organic. And so when we were choosing about the material of the backsplash of the kitchen, I found this beautiful stone veneer from a supplier, and it has that texture that I really wanted. It's not too rough, but it has that cracks and edges that really looks like you're inside a cave, and that's what I was really looking for anyway in our kitchen. So this was it. This part, I really like this area here, just below our staircase. So this is a console table that we have had for years now. And then I just added this element here so that it would look a little bit oriental. I got this beautiful textile fabric from Sri Lanka in one of my trips. And this is from a beautiful antique shop that I bought here in Manila. And then let's go up. So this is our staircase landing going into the family room or the main entertainment room. This is such a small space, which I just particularly place some interesting pieces like this bugkos bench that I personally designed, adobe stone, and then this beautiful bookshelf that I have designed as well, with also the kappa lamp that I designed as well as part of the Jed Yabut furniture collection. And this is actually a beautiful old Gabaldon house, Gabaldon school window that I bought from Pampanga. And this is just basically used to cover up for this very modern window that was part of the original house before we bought it. And I just placed basically a portal frame here to encapsulate the window with all these beautiful old balusters as part of what I bought from Pampanga. It's a good homage to have a Filipino painting with all the Filipino fiesta games in a Filipino modern house. It's from Belegal and it's about palarong Pinoy, larong kalye. So you have the sipa, saranggola, palo sebo. I really love that. Oh, before I forget, this is actually a very interesting door. This wasn't a door before. These are actually windows from ancestral houses made out of capiche shells and those sampaguita designed stained glasses that we all have seen in the 1980s, 1990s. And we just painted this with this beautiful teal color so that it would have that pop of color as well. So I made it to become like a door instead of just a window. The master bedroom and the master toilet are pretty much inspired by Japanese aesthetics because I'm a big fan of Japan. I lived in Tokyo for quite a while. And so I thought I'd put that in this house. It's a mix of Filipino Japanese aesthetic. So this is the master toilet. This is the toilet cabinets that I personally designed as well. Quite asymmetrical, which is pretty much my design aesthetics anyway. And then we use old yakal wood planks here, so to line the top, and this beautiful ceramic wooden inspired tiles. And I thought it just looks beautiful with such a very natural tone and texture to it. And then the shower is pretty much those Japanese white tiles that we usually see. And this is the master bedroom where I sleep and I take a rest. Again, this is very Japanese, Filipino Japanese inspired. Pretty much the bed, the headboard is a divider, which I saw from a Japanese thrift shop, and I thought it was beautiful. And let's just put it on my headboard. So that's what it is. It's actually a double-sided divider, but this is this is the side where it has a lot nicer and more beautiful design. And this is an artwork. Basically, these are all the architectural sketches that I did during my college years at UP Diliman Art School of Architecture. This is the entertainment / living room / family room. This is where we basically hang out to watch movies and watch TV shows with a huge sofa here, which I personally designed. And that is also a design that by Jed Yabut Furniture called the Duyan Lounge Chair. And the console table is actually, we did it ourselves here when we were constructing the house. So the metal that you saw here are actually part of the staircase railings before. And this is a beautiful DIY coffee table that we did before. So it's basically just concrete, and I stamped interesting leaves here, tropical leaves and palm leaves and a balete leaf and some stuff that I bought from antique shops. This beautiful lamp, floor lamp, and ifugao wall art here. This space is actually quite eclectic because this is where all the pop of colors are coming in. So downstairs is basically like modern / traditional Filipino. Now this is also like that, but with more of very bright and pop colors. You know what we loved about this house when we bought this is this beautiful, huge balcony on the second floor, just right next to the family room. And my personal design intent for this is I wanted to have very wild and grassy landscaping, not your typical Balinese where it's beautiful and manicured. I don't really like that. So I want it to be very unique, quite almost scary kind of landscaping. So everything is just quite long and shardy. And that's basically the intent of the landscaping here. So that's it. Thank you for letting me introduce to you our house. I had fun. Unfortunately, you gotta go, and I have a dinner party to go into. So thank you.